Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of Full Force Drafting. We're going to be doing a blue-red spells version this time. So voted on Twitter and on the comment section. You guys asked mostly for a blue-red spells edition of Full Force. So we're kind of going over the different archetypes you can draft in Shadows over Innistrad. And this week, we're going to do whatever we can to get as much blue-red spells as possible. So we want to get a bunch of different cards. We want like Pyre Hounds and Rise from the Tides. This is a deck that's built off of cards that nobody else wants. So I think that what we want to do is we want to try and grab Rise from the Tides and Geist Blast and Pyre Hounds very early over basically everything else. And then we can wheel a lot of other garbage cards. So we can wheel cards like Catalog and Nagging Thoughts and Compelling Deterrence and Just the Wind. And not that those cards are terribly bad, but they're not like A-plus type cards. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to want to wheel, I think. Fleeting Memories, we could possibly make a blue-red spells version that does mill people if we can get things like Startled Awake, but I mean, that's a mythic. It's going to be really hard to get. Memories would work in that style of deck, but I don't know that we really want it here. We could mill ourselves. We go really, really deep, but that would require Rise from the Tides already. So I think here we're going to take a card that cares about spells, which is Niblis of Dusk. We could take Reduce to Ashes. We could take Catalog. Both of those are well within the stipulations of the deck, I would say. The good cards are things like Guess's Bidding. Like, if I weren't doing this, I'd probably slam a Guess's Bidding. But we're taking Niblis of Dusk, because this is what we're doing. Ooh, Dance with Devils seems really nice. Fevered Visions would be a great card to play in this deck. But that's another one of those ones that I think should wheel. So we're going to take a spell. We're going to take Dance with Devils. We just want as many spells as possible. Yeah, so I think that we're going to look a lot for, like I said, like Rise from the Tides and Pyre Hounds normally are cards that I think would wheel, but the problem is that they're so important to this style of deck, what we're going to try and do here, that we have to take them in case they don't. And then we're just going to try and like wheel all of the other cards that we don't care too much about, like Jace's Scrutiny can probably wheel, or, well, Tormenting Voice might not wheel. I can probably take that. I also have the option of taking like Daring Sleuth or Stitchwing Scob. Epitaph Golem might actually be useful, especially if we manage to get a Rise from the Tides. I think, this is a tough one. Do I go for Epitaph Golem hoping that I can mill my entire deck with like Tormenting Voices and Rise, and go for like Rise from the Tides wins off of an Epitaph Golem? Or do I just take Tormenting Voice to enable like drawing down to things like Rise from the Tides? Or, I mean, I could just take Stitchwing Scob or Daring Sleuth just to have some creatures. Because I am going to need some creatures to, like, block with. That is a thing that I will need. This is a very interesting pack. I think that I take Tormenting Voice, and I hope that the Epitaph Golem wheels. I want to start drawing cards. Ooh, Stitch Mangler gives us a lot of extra time, which is something we're going to need. Because this is going to be a slow deck. This deck needs a lot of time to doodle around and then get to, like, late-game Rise from the Tides type shenanigans. Alright, so let's grab the Stitched Mangler. Reduce to Ashes would be fine. Highland Lake would be quite nice. There was, like, Rabid Bite in that pack, but we don't care about that. Green cards? No. We're taking spells. That's what matters. Alright, so Homunculus? Neonate could be okay. We do have Just the Wind for Madness, and we might pick up some more Madness cards. Like, we can get a Welcome to the Fold. More Just the Winds would be good. I could Neonate. I'm not like happy about it, but I'm not really happy with Homunculus either. Very mediocre. I'll take this. There is the option of getting like Fiery Temper and a bunch of other Madness cards. Nagging Thoughts is one of them. So we will grab a Nagging Thoughts here. Hopefully, we will manage to grab a Rise from the Tides late at some point here. I would love to get Fiery Temper, obviously. It's another card that I'm on the lookout for, but it's not going to come this late anymore. Rise from the Tides, it could be in the next pack. We still have one more pick until we're back into cards that we have seen already. So it's possible we can get a Rise from the Tides here. This is the problem with this deck, is that it relies a lot on what uncommons and rares you open. Things like Geist Blast and Startled Awake, Rise from the Tides. Those are the cards that you're looking for, but they're also the cards that are, like, they're uncommon. They're going to be hard to get. So it does make a little bit of a difference there as to how playable your deck is, just based on what's actually opened by people in the draft. So we'll take a Broken Concentration. I'm not going to need an Uncaged Fury. I'm not going to try winning with creatures. We don't want to do that. Not unless we generate tokens out of spells. But we don't want actual, like, creature cards. That's just silly. Alright, this is a good sign. All of the blue and red cards wheeled. I think I take a Reduce to Ashes. Like, all the blue-red cards wheeled. Not a lot of great ones, but, like, Blood Mad Vampire, I think, is the only red card that's missing from this pack, if I remember correctly. The only thing worth talking about, that's for sure. Alright, let's take the Reduce. Catalog is tempting, but I think we want to Reduce first. We should be able to pick up another Catalog later anyways. I want cards like Catalog and Tormenting Voice, because I'm not going to get... If I do get a Rise from the Tides, which I desperately need, I'm not going to get a lot of them, and I'm going to want to be able to draw down to it. Howlpack Wolf is a good red card, but not in this deck, because it can't block normally, which is a real problem. Woo! That's what I needed. Epitaph Golem is perfect. Alright, so, yeah, I don't care about any of these cards. I'll take a Loam Dryad, I guess. Magmatic Chasm. It is a spell, but not a spell that I care about. Epitaph Golem gives me hope. That's a good one. Welcome to the Fold is not only a spell, but also a creature. And it's great with things like Tormenting Voice or anything else we can use to get Madness. Ravenous Bloodseeker would be nice if I can wheel it, but it seems unlikely. Just because of Welcome to the Fold, Just the Wind. Neonate's actually good with Welcome to the Fold too, so I'm glad that I have it now. Dissension in the ranks. I mean, technically a spell, but not exactly a good one. Yeah, really not what I'd want to play in this deck, because I'd have to be attacking first. I guess Ghostly Wings? I can use it to bounce opponents' creatures, and I can use it with, like, Welcome to the Fold. Yeah. Not excited about it. I guess I could just take Convicted Killer. Ghostly Wings should wheel. This is a decent enough blocker, I guess. I might be able to flip it. Whoa! Well, that's a card. I mean, I know we're going Spells Matter, but I'm still going to take Grolf's Masterpieces in endgame, because this card is an absolute absurd bomb. 5 mana, 7/7 flyer. And yes, it gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand, but you just dump your hand, and then you end up with, like, it's often like a 4/4 or a 5/5 flyer for 5 by the time that you play it. And I mean, a 4/4 flyer for 5 is great. 5/5 flyer for 5 is insane, and everything else after that is just, I mean, it's a great card. It's very, very hard to beat. If you have cards in your hand, that's not exactly a bad thing. Alright, take an Inner Struggle. Hopefully wheel pieces of the puzzle. I really need that Rise from the Tides, though. We need to find that at some point. Another Tormenting Voice would be okay. I need some 2-drops. Maybe a Furtive Homunculus, just a block. No Pyre Hounds have I seen either. There's just been no Pyre Hounds, no Rise from the Tides. Yeah, and again, that's the problem with this deck. Sometimes that just happens. You just don't get the cards. And even if you're forcing it, it's going to be hard to get the deck to work. So we'll see what happens. I'd love to win with Rise from the Tides, but it looks like we might be winning with Grolf's Masterpiece. Alright, so normally I might just be taking Sleep Paralysis here. I don't love the card. It's a very mediocre removal spell. But we care about spells, and we're going to play Pyrehound, because that's what we're trying to showcase. We're trying to showcase a deck that cares about spells. Pyrehound cares about spells, we take it. Dual Shot. Yeah, I mean, it's a spell, and it's a decent enough one against certain decks. It does kill off Devilthorn Foxes, and, like, Niblis Dusk, things like that. So there's some annoying creatures that it can ping off. Blood Mad Vampire is another one, as long as it hasn't hit you already. But, yeah, not terrible. Okay, so what are we looking for now? I still need a Fiery Temper or two. That would be really good. Another couple ways to activate Madness, of course. Like I said, more Tormenting Voice. If we can get a Catalog, maybe. I'm not super excited about Catalog, but it seems fine. Alright, we got Drownyard Explorers, Prized Amalgam. I'll take Drownyard, I think. I'm not going to play Prized Amalgam on a splash, and I don't have any way to get it back anyways. Drownyard does let us draw cards, which is something that we really want to do. We need to draw down to Grolf's Masterpiece, because that is our new win condition. Also, if we can draw enough cards to actually get to the bottom end of our deck and have Epitaph Golem do work, that would be nice. Ooh, Sanguinary Mage. That cares about spells, and it's a decent card. Nice little blocker. We definitely needed 2 drops, so that was a good pickup for us for sure. Gibbering Fiend. Ooh, another Sanguinary Mage. Alright, alright. This is starting to come together a little bit. Sanguinary Mages are a decent enough payoff for the early game. We're 10 and 9. We've got a lot of creatures for being a spells deck. Hoping to up the spell content, but I just can't seem to find ones that I want. All the blue-red cards wheeled again, although these ones were pretty bad. I'll take the Ghostly Wings. It's possible, but not likely, that we can use it. Silent Observer or Howlpack Wolf? If I play Howlpack Wolf, then I have 2 Howlpack Wolves and a Convicted Killer. So that is something we could do. I think that I want Silent Observer. It's not in keeping with the deck. This would be like an aggro deck, and I don't know that I want that. I want to be playing... We want to be stalling the game out and playing a lot of spells and digging through our deck. That's what we want to do. So maybe Howlpack Wolf is the pick there if you want to win, but we want to win in a different way. We want to win with our spells. We don't want to win with creatures. Ugh, silly. Alright, Pyrehound it is. This is another terrible pack for us. This pack's actually bad for most everybody, though. Bloodsworn's good for red-black vampires. There's Malevolent Whispers, I guess. That's fine for certain decks. Like, Neglected Heirloom can be good for, like, a werewolf deck. There's nothing great here, though. Alright, Pyrehound it is. Incorrigible Youths. Yeah, that card's good. I need some ways to discard it, though. Right now, I just have Tormenting Voice and Neonate. I don't think I have anything else that discards. I don't have, like, any Reckless Scholars, which is another card we'd really want to look for in this deck. Yeah. Yeah, we just have Tormenting Voice and the Insolent Neonate, so Incorrigible Youths is not looking that good. I guess I just think Gatstaff Arsonist is, like, a late-game end spell. Win conditions, that's what we want. Suppose that will work. Not the style of the deck that I want, but sometimes you don't get to force the deck that you want, even if you're ignoring everything else. And this is the deck that I find more than anything else in this format has that problem. Like, more than blue-green, more than green-white humans, more than, like, any Delirium decks. This is a deck that just sometimes can't get the spells that it wants and just ends up not quite being the deck that you wanted it to be. So Skin Invasion, but I don't think I care about that. I'm just going to take another Pieces of the Puzzle. We just want a lot of spells. Another Epitaph Golem. This does go through our deck fast, but I think I take Adjust the Wind. I'd rather take another spell. Epitaph Golem hopefully will wheel like the last one did. Mad Prophet. There we go. That's a nice one. Catalog would be good. Mad Prophet actually enables Welcome to the Fold in these Just the Winds and Nagging Thoughts. It enables a lot of things, which is kind of nice. I'm going to take out probably Arsonists, Drownyard Explorers maybe. I really want to play a bunch of spells. I'm trying to make this work. Let's play the Mad Prophet. Tormenting Voice would be okay to wheel. Or the Catalog. Another Pieces of the Puzzle. I don't want another one. None of these cards matter. So I might take a Wildfield Scarecrow just because it blocks well. Ooh, Devil's Playground is a big, nasty spell, I suppose. Sanguinary Mage number 3 could be fine. I mean, we could be a mildly aggressive, like, blue-red tempo deck. I don't really want to do that because that It didn't feel like in keeping with the theme to me, but I mean, I suppose that it is. We still play a lot of spells, and the Sanguinary Mages care about that kind of thing. Alright, I'm going to take Sanguinary Mage. Am I? No, I'm going to take Devil's Playground. Spells over non-spells. Inner Struggle. Alright. Always take the spell. That's the rule. Gotta take the spells. Alright, so what are we cutting from this deck? I think Epitaph Golem isn't making it. We didn't get enough draw to really go through our deck the way that I want to. Like, we need more Mad Prophets, Reckless Scholars, and, like, Tormenting Voice, Catalogs, things like that, and then we can, like, rip through our deck and end up using Epitaph Golem. But this deck doesn't really do that. Alright, Malevolent Whispers is possible. It is a spell. I'm not going to play Dual Shot unless I have to. Probably not playing Neonate either. We have a few things with Madness, but not like anything super crazy. Just the Welcome to the Fold. Yeah, I'll take out the Neonate. I want the Wild Field as a blocker early. And then we're just going to try and kill off a bunch of things. Block a bunch of things with, like, Sanguinary Mages, and then kill off a bunch of things with, like, Inner Struggles until we stabilize and can get, like, a giant Pyrehound or Geralf's Masterpiece. That'll be the goal of the deck, I think. Too bad that we didn't see any Rise from the Tides. But that's okay, because on this edition of Full Force, I did get the request that we do more drafts. And I'd wanted to originally, because I think that one draft doesn't show enough of the deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit down the rounds a little bit, so it's not, like, you know, 6 hours worth of videos. It might take me 6 hours to record them, but we'll edit out the rounds a little bit, give some highlights from them, and then go on to the next draft. So I'll show you what the record is, show you some highlights of the drafts, and then we'll go on to the next one. But this looks like it's going to be the deck. That's my guess. Seagraph Scobs are nice pickups for us, because if we come across a very aggressive deck, we might have to stall out here. It's certainly possible that we could build a version of the deck that has a bunch of Howlpack Wolves and, like, Insolent Neonates, and we just go really aggro on it and just be kind of a blue-red tempo deck, but I don't feel like that's in keeping with what we're trying to do. Because, I mean, we could certainly play a double Howlpack Wolf over, like, pieces of the puzzle, and play some Neonates over, I don't know, like an Inner Struggle and a Nagging Thoughts, and then just, like, go to town, but I don't think that's what we really want to do. Like I said, it's not in keeping with what we were trying to do. So, yeah, this actually, I think, is just the deck right now. We'll use the pieces to draw into, like, Inner Struggles, Welcome to the Fold, maybe. I'm worried about Geralf's Masterpiece going to the graveyard off of pieces of the puzzle. I really wish we'd gotten the catalogs back. Neither one of them wheeled, which is very weird. I feel like somebody else might have been in our style of deck. I could take out a pieces and put in Drownyard, because it does draw us a card in a similar fashion. Or maybe Neonate. We can use it as a chump blocker and then to get Madness. And also draw a little bit. That might not be that bad. Maybe I just put in one Neonate. I don't love it as a blocker, but I guess that it's fine. I'm just worried about, you know, getting rid of Pyrehounds and Masterpiece with pieces of the puzzle, and then suddenly we don't have a way to win the game. So I don't want to play too many of those. That's the one problem that I have with it. If we had a Rise from the Tides, it'd be totally different, but we never got one. Because with Rise from the Tides, then it's like, whatever, I don't care about ditching Geralf's Masterpiece. I got Rise from the Tides. I'll just grab Rise from the Tides with pieces of the puzzle. That's all I'm looking for. But it doesn't quite work out as well when we don't have that. So let's do this. Figure out our lands. 9-8. We do have a lot of double blue. I think that that's acceptable. We want a little bit more red, but we've got a fair bit of early blue, like Niblis and Stitch Mangler pieces of the puzzle. So I think that this is okay. And we'll submit, and I'll see you guys for round 1. We're both just stuck. This is going to be a very, very tight race.